6 days after the Bengals said, we're not going to trade T. Higgins. Maybe their tune has changed. But it's not changed much because, well, yes, they're not trading T. Higgins. There's a reason why. According to NFL Network Cameron Wolf, he said, I did check in with a couple rival teams around the league to see what the trade market is looking like. And I was told that the asking price for Higgins is crazy. From one person, very high. So this seems like a situation where the Bengals are not in a position right now with their asking price to trade him. So we don't know exactly what that would entitle. Obviously, they say a lot of teams around the league right now are saying our asking price for Trey Hendrickson is ridiculously crazy. And right now we're asking for a first round pick, period. Like, we want it first no matter what. And a lot of teams are like, yeah, no, that's way too much for Trey Hendrickson. So I would assume if that's the case, they're probably asking for a first round pick of T. Higgins. And they're probably saying, hey, you know, if you want him, you got to give us a first round pick in order to go get him. Now, 6 days ago, when free agency started and we franchise tagged him on last Monday, the quote-unquote situation was we were not trading him. We didn't care what you offered. We didn't care what you said. We didn't care what anything was said. We're not giving you T. Higgins. 6 days later, well, that same conversation is not being said. Now, of course, this does not mean the Bengals are shopping him at this moment in time, right? They're not. But teams definitely, you know, are still going to try to wiggle in and try to potentially go get him, right? Even if the NFL team says, I'm not trading this guy, I'm not giving this guy up, doesn't stop teams from trying to go get T. Higgins. He's a great receiver. They want him for the squad. And especially with how the receiver market went this year, in free agency, it wasn't the greatest. So a lot of teams that are still hungry for wide receivers. That's why the Steelers traded a second round pick and went and got DK Metcalf. If the free agent market was better for receiver, then yeah, there would probably have been, you know, they probably wouldn't have traded for DK Metcalf. They probably would have signed somebody else. But when you look at the receiver market in free agency, it's like a cesspool of retirement home guys. Got Stephon Diggs, who's like 31 years old. DeAndre Hopkins, 32 years old. And I mean, it just gets worse and worse. And then the guys that are kind of still good, I'm going to say are not good, but who are still really good, for example, Chris Godwin, he ended up going back to the Bucks. And by the way, I don't know if you guys saw this, but Chris Godwin took $22 million less to go back to the Bucks. The Patriots offered Chris Godwin $22 million more, and he decided to turn that down and go back to the Bucks because he wanted to play with a better quarterback, probably. Beside the point, this is, again, like I said before, not surprising. It's not surprising that teams are trying to go after T. And this is going to continue throughout this whole offseason. Now, I don't think we're going to trade him. I really don't think we will. Teams get more desperate, though, right around the draft time. This is why A.J. Brown was traded on draft night. Why receivers Marquise Brown was traded from the Ravens to the Cardinals on draft night. There's a reason why that happens is because teams get desperate. You know, you're during draft night, couple guys, you know, get drafted before you are able to pick. And you might have, for example, a team might goes into a draft and they might want McMillan, right? The wide receiver this upcoming draft from Arizona. They want that guy. Well, he gets selected before they pick. And now they're like, crap, we wanted that wide receiver. And we thought he was going to be available when we picked. Then they go, Bengals got T. Higgins. And T. Higgins still wasn't on a contract, but I bet the Bengals might be interested in going and trading for a first round pick for him. And at the time, we really need this. So then they call up the Bengals and say, hey, T. Higgins for our first round pick. Because we were going to take a wide receiver anyway, and we didn't get the guy we wanted. So let's just go get someone we do want. It happens, right? Draft night trades happen all the time. So if they don't get a contract done by the draft for T. Higgins, I'll be interested to see what ends up happening on draft night. But I assume they get a contract done before draft night. But again, anything is possible. I'm just going to keep it out there. Anything is possible. Now let's talk about the last elephant in the room, Joe Burrow. Yeah, Joe Burrow, the guy who really would be pissed off if you didn't bring back T. Higgins and Jamar Chase. Yeah, you don't want to piss him off. But the Bengals are getting kind of impatient. And again, they have a number that they value T at. And if T refuses to come down to that number, their trade is butt. And they'll move on. And they'll wipe their hands. And it is what it is. So I don't think they're going to. And I think we'll end up keeping him. But just crazy. 6 days, man. 6 days. Times. Tunes are changing. Tunes are changing. You don't get the contract done. 6 days later, the Bengals are like, I'm not liking the idea of not trading this guy anymore. Now, personally speaking, my personal opinion will always stay the same. You gotta sign Chase. You gotta sign T. Why? Because Joe Burrow said to. Because Joe Burrow wants it, you sign those guys. He also says he wants to re-sign Trey Hendrickson. I don't think they're going to do that, but T and Chase are priorities. You got to sign those two guys. Tell me down below your thoughts and opinions. See you guys next one.